So in this problem, it's multiple parts, but what we're going to be doing is dealing with this g of x, and we're going to be plugging in different values for x. Like, I don't know, I know g of 0 is 1, and we're going to plug in these different values and simplify it down. So the one I want to try is g of 2. I'm going to plug 2 in to all these values for x. Now, the method that I use whenever I'm first showing people how to do this is to rewrite that function. Instead of writing g of x, write g of something. As in, don't write the variable. Wherever the variable is at, put parentheses there. So not 2x squared, 2 times something squared. Not minus 2x, put minus 2 times something. And what this does is, especially if the problem is multiple parts, it creates us a template that we can plug whatever we need to into this function. Like in this case, we're going to plug in 2 into these sets of parentheses right here. And so this is what it looks like when we do that. Now, the only thing that we have to worry about, and again, the reason I'm plugging in 2 is because that's what it asked me to find, was g of 2. Anyway, now the only thing we had to worry about is simplifying this result down. So I'm going to start off by squaring the 2 to get 4. We always, you're going to realize this in the following parts, you're going to always want to square this first, whether it's a number or maybe even a whole nother function. Square that first before you multiply by the number out front. That's just order of operations. So we square the 2 to get 4. And now we're ready to do our multiplication. So 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Bring down your plus 5, you get 9. Now, an easier one to try is maybe to try g of 0. Here, I don't know, it just seems easier to plug 0 in. 0 is easy to work with. You square your 0, and well, 0 squared is just 0. So now we're ready for that multiplication step. And 2 times 0 is 0. Minus 2 times 0, that's 0. So 0 minus 0 plus 5 is 5. Now this is where it can get interesting. This is where having that template could be extremely useful. The g of something. So write the function down without the x's and where those x's were at. Put parentheses there. And this is still that same function from the very beginning. Anyway, once you've got your template written down, we're wanting g of negative x, so plug negative x inside those parentheses and simplify. Well, what have we done in our simplification so far? We've always started off with squaring, dealing with the exponent before we've done any multiplication. Well, negative x squared, well, whenever you square a negative, you get a positive. That's like saying negative x times negative x. It's positive x squared. So now we're ready for our multiplication, and you have the 2 times the x squared and the negative 2 times the negative x and the plus 5. We completed the step of multiplication to get 2x squared, positive 2x, positive 5. There are no like terms. And I just have one more that I want to try. When you have a g of x, same g of x as before, but this time we're plugging in 1 minus t. We're not just plugging in a number or a variable. We're plugging in a binomial. We're plugging in a whole nother function. So, and I should have written my template, my g of something equals 2 times something squared minus 2 times something plus 5. And if you have that template, you can just write your 1 minus t into those parentheses. And it's more of the same thing. We have been working with the squaring first, right? You want to deal with the exponent first. So 1 minus t squared. Well, a lot of people, they just want to say, well, 1 squared is 1 and t squared is t squared. But that's not quite the case. When you square something, you multiply it by itself. So that would be 1 minus t times 1 minus t. And in order to do that, you had to FOIL. You had to say 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times negative t is negative t, and negative t times 1 is negative t, and negative t times negative t is positive t squared. So this that I'm doing has like terms. It's 1 minus 2t plus t squared. These negative t's in the middle combine to give me negative 2t. Anyway, all of this work right here, this was only simplifying this little part right here. 1 minus t squared is better written as 1 minus 2t plus t squared. Well, now that we know that, let's replace what was earlier, we called it 1 minus t squared. We're replacing that with the 1 minus 2t plus t squared. Anyway, so now we have the 2 out front that we will distribute, and then the negative 2 we can now distribute to the 1 and the negative t. And of course, we got the 5 on the end. When we do all that distribution and get 2 minus 4t plus 2t squared minus 2 plus 2t plus 5, we want to combine like terms. There's no other t squareds. So we're just going to put that out front, the 2t squared. And then negative 4t and 2t combine to give us negative 2t. Positive 2, negative 2t, and positive 5 all combine to give us a positive 5 on the end. And this is our final answer. There's nothing else I can do to that one.